of you want to do things right? To keep up with keeping your lives tight. Tight as in being right with the truth of true insight. Who of you want to do things right? Who of you want to truly succeed in attaining all in that which is your need? To be heard by the real answerer of all deeds, the true hero of all whom pleads. Who of you really want to bow down to the true King of Kings commanding the crown? To worship the one that ever rules alone, commanding everything of creation from the seat of its throne.
This is Holy-Apostle Deen, handling the set today. I got a good brother here, Brother A.H.A.D, Saleem. He wanted to do a little interview thing on me, and I told him, he can have his little privilege to do that on this show. I'm hosting. The host of the show, the normal host, just laughed. He don't know he's about to lose his job. And the co-host just laughed that you heard. He about to lose his too. We're going to make some changes around here. So he don't know. This brother didn't know, but I'm trying him now to see how he do in terms of handling the host, because I definitely need somebody to bounce things off just for, your entertainment and what have you. So if you hear any crying back there, now that they know that they're not going to be hosting anymore, and just get out the violence. Maestro, can we have some music? Don't worry about that. I'm cooling, man. Cameraman tried to tell me my socks on. They want me to be formal, but I'm human. I'm like you. I'm cooling. And my man is cooling over here today. Right?
Yeah, man.
So he wanted to show me the questions that he had for me, but I didn't want to see him. I'd rather be real. So I'm giving him the opportunity to question me in any manner that he wanted to question. And the audience is welcome to join him if they have questions on top of his questions. All right, let's go ahead. I hope you don't mind, but we're going to have a little bit of that, the sounds of now music in the background for a little while. Not too loud, though, because we want to make sure that they could hear the interview. All right, let's go.
All right, again, my name is A.H.A.D Saleem, and I'm going to be interviewing the Lord Holy-Apostle Deen on some different topics about the religion of Islam, the religion of the new universal religion, and his message that he wants to bring to the people today. So my first question is, like a lot of Jewish people, Christian people, and Muslims in different communities, they feel real secure in their religion today. And I want to know, what do you have to say about that, and why does the world need a new message and a new messenger today?
Okay, good question. In every day and age of the Lord, which, like they say, the day of the Lord is as of 1,000 years. What that means is that the Lord sends a messenger down from heaven, caused him to be born as a man, and amongst needy people who have usually is the lowest accepted people in the society, the ones who are the most downtrodden, and it would raise the messenger up, and it would name its day, its time period after that messenger. Like they said, Noah lived for 1,000 years, or so forth and so on, or other prophets lived for so long. In some cases, they were talking about the time of their message, like Muhammad. Muhammad's day has been 1,500 years or so,
right.
And so now what we have today is a new day of the Lord, like we come to the last day of Muhammad's time period. And most people, when they talked about the day of Revelation, they didn't realize that they was talking about the end period of Muhammad's time, where the people who was given the last message of Allah through Muhammad have gone astray completely, like the people you mentioned. And so, in the mercy of the Lord, it has raised me up and given me its new message to straighten out, correct all the things that the people have misconstrued about the past message and taken out of content, and even created a new religion, which the Lord refers to as Hadithism. Like Christianity came from what Moses brought, Hadithism come from what Muhammad brought, where people have gone astray and added their own, flavor to it, so to speak. And the Lord it addresses everything. Now, it's said to the Christians, the prophecy of my coming is over 5,000 years. But in the 2,000 years ago, it said to the people of Jesus' time that the Lord, the strength of the Lord would be seated upon the throne. The strength of the Lord, that's the meaning of the name Samuel, strength of the Lord. What the Hebrews or the Jews have did, they've tried to make it mean the Lord have heard. But if you go through the history of the word Sam, it always meant strength. Like the samurais is the strength of Ra, the strength of the Lord. Samson was the strong, strong servant of Allah. And and for them to try to turn that strength into hearing, like Sami, for hearing, that's to take you away from what this prophecy is, that the Samuel will be seated on the throne of the Lord, El. You see? So we tell the people that Samuel is the one to return and not Jesus, where the devil had interfered and input things in the book of Revelation that wasn't supposed to be there, to make it seem like Jesus, who was looked upon as the Lamb of the Lord, was the one who was looked upon as the Lion of Judah, the lion warrior Samuel. And so we straighten that out, as well as the misinterpretations of the Holy Quran and the ongoing eternal word of the Lord El.
A lot of the times, like the jinn that's in power, they try to use words against us. You often tell us about the true power of words. And a lot of people today use the word religion real loosely. Could you give us a definition of the true meaning of the word religion?
Yeah. Well, first let's get a real meaning of the word jinn. The people from the east and some over here in the west amongst the jinn try to make us think that the jinn is representative of the genies and not of man on earth. And the jinn are just in spirit. But there's all kinds of jinn. And when they said that Solomon, they said he commanded many jinn, under his seat of power. They were talking about people of power that's not common folk. People that you wouldn't see generally walking down the street. People that you would see, they would always be kept away from you, bodyguards, or, they're very important and powerful people. But there are more jinn that's behind them. And that's the ones that you never see seated in the seats of power. But they are more powerful than the figureheads that sit the seats of power. For instance, the president. The president, as powerful as he is, there are jinn behind him who are just as powerful. And if he goes too far off course from what they want in this political society, he will find himself leading up the same course as some of our past, a couple of our past Democratic presidents. A couple of them.
I often hear you use the term for the new name of Allah, Ahezaah. Could you explain what that name means and where it comes from to the people who may not understand what it means?
Sure, but before I do that, let me answer the question about religion. Religion is a simple word that means a way of life. Right. A lot of people have taken that out of context. When they say religion, they put it in a box and make it an organization. Your religion is a way of life. And because people put it in a box and make it mean, like an organization, an organizational frame of thought, frame of mind, practice in the frame of thought, people become hypocritical very easy. And when they go into their churches or their other houses of worship, they practice their religion, but when they come out, they get away from what they consider their religion sometimes, like when they go on their jobs. You know, when they're called to do things by people who are not of their religion, who don't care about their religion, who don't respect their religion or their belief about the Lord Most High and the way they believe, and call them to do certain things and say, if you don't do this, you'll get fired. And most of them go and they will do things, you know, against the divine law, wrongfully, even taking the lives of other people. You know, see, if you're in the military and or in other forms of, you know, work, but let's take the military, and you're called to kill the people by your political leaders, by your military leaders, your chiefs of staff and what have you, and you know that there's something wrong about it. You can't turn and say, hey, I'm Christian, I'm Muslim, I'm Jew, I'm this, I'm that. I can't kill them people. You'll be killed as a traitor. Right. You see? So you have many people who go against their own soul for their ways of life against what they consider their religion, which is their ways of life, right, because of them putting themselves in that box. Now, if they don't put themselves in that box, they will consider what would be before they even join an organization that would call them to go against their belief, their way of life. You know, and that's like not the way of life, not just in your physical practice, but in your mental and spiritual practice. Okay? Now, in the name of Ahezaah, that's Ahezaah is the name of the Lord of the throne. It's the same Lord of the throne that was called, that has been called Allaah and Amen and Ra and Thor and Udan or Udin and you know, so many other names, you know, by different people, you know, Brahman, you know, it's the same supreme being, the same ultimate, you know, manifestation of El, the, you know, and I know that when I say the, a lot of people kind of get taken, you know, like, what do you mean the, you know, like the Muslims, they say that nobody should be named Abdul because that just means servant of the, and that's nothing, you know. But I beg to differ from my education from Allah itself. It says that the people of the book before us, before Muhammad, has hid the meaning of the name El, which is the, Al, which is the, which comes before many of the attributes, many of the 99 names of Allah, so-called names of Allah. But Al in front of Al, is El, which is Allah, you know? And so they hid that the is something. Right. You see? So by right, if you say Abdul Haq, you are saying servant of the, which is the truth. You see? But the Arabs have shortened it up to mean servant of the truth. Right. You see? If we would be so respectful and humble ourselves in fear of Allah to do right, you know, these misconceptions and confusions about the different attributes, the different names, the different meanings would not be allowed in our divine circles of language, divine circles of religion, so-called religion, and what have you. You know, we wouldn't have this problem. Now, I just dropped something on the world of Muslims when I just said what I just said about Abdul. Right. Because now they thinking, do this guy know what he's talking about? Yes, I know what I'm talking about. You think about what I'm talking about. You know? The is before everything. You know? When you address your house, you say the house, the man, the car, the store, the world. Everything. For everything. That's right. So what comes after this? You know, is there anything? The world continuing. Still the. And when the Christians address the Lord El as the in the holy book, the holy so-called holy scripture that they've collected, they know that the is the. And they hold it they hold it sacredly. Right. You know, but here it is again, people who have knowledge of the divine covenants, they want to hold that knowledge to themselves so that they're people who they favor will have power by wisdom, by knowledge, by information, I should say, over other people, and that's wrong.
Right.
Now, that's why, that first question you asked me, that's why we're here. Because all the people of the book before us have gone astray. And again, the Lord is manifesting his mercy by sending down a book, raising up his messenger, speaking through his messenger, and defying what all the billions of Muslims say about there's no prophet to come, no messenger of Allah to come no more. In other words, shut up, Allah, we don't want to hear you no more, so don't talk about no messengers to come. Muhammad was the last. Even though Muhammad didn't say it, they wrote it and then they say it. So we need Allah to speak up, again, as a mercy, or we all will be destroyed.
That was getting into my next question. I was going to ask you about the people of the Islamic faith. They believe that Muhammad was the last prophet when it says that he was the seal.
Right.
Could you explain what the meaning of the seal of the prophets means for Muhammad?
Well, you know, if people would be so fair, if they would just be fair and stop being so malevolent, you know, so wicked, they would allow the people to understand that seal means the approval of something. Yeah. You know, when I give my seal of approval, my stamp of approval, that acknowledges something. Muhammad is a prophet that acknowledged, being the seal, he acknowledged the true prophets that came before him. He acknowledged the true books that came before him. He acknowledged that there would be something to come after him by the words of the Holy Quran. He recognized the day of judgment. He recognized this last day. And he said many times, those who believe in Allah in the last day. You know? But the last day was spoken of before him. So he knew and he believed in Jesus, the prophecy of Allah that came through Jesus. Because Allah is the real prophet. Right. You know, when they say there's no prophets to come, they say Allah is finished. And if Allah is finished with our lives, then what is it for us in life? When we were only created to glorify it, to worship it, to be signs of its glory. If there's no more of it, then what are we still doing here? You know, we need to consider that.
If I'm not mistaken, it says in the Quran that if Allah became displeased with the people of his most recent covenant with Muhammad and his people, that he will replace those people with the new covenant and new people. Has that day come, and who are the new people, and what is the new covenant?
You think about what I just said. Do you think that the Muslim world believe that day has come?
I don't believe they do.
No, they can't believe that day is coming. They can't believe in that aspect of the prophecy. They can't believe in that part of the Quran. That's a part of the Quran that Allah said they would take and put behind their backs. They can't believe in that because they say Muhammad was the last. So what is it about Allah creating a new people? Do they truly believe that with them killing innocent people, that's one thing that they do under their religion? In war, they say war, there's, you know, all's fair in love and war. So they kill up innocent people, you know, without regards, and say, you know, they're going to heaven for it. Huh? Now, I understand them fighting back. But, you know, like my mother used to say, 2 wrongs don't make a right. And my mother don't even believe in Islam. Don't believe in Allah. But she was right about that. 2 wrongs don't make a right. You know? If I kill you, do that means if you kill somebody in my family, do that mean I'm supposed to come and kill your whole family and your neighbors? So there's a wrong in that. You know? And the whole world has gone astray in these wars. The devil fighting the devil, and every devil calling themselves the people, the children of the Lord. Every devil calling themselves the chosen one on the east and the west side. That's why the Lord is needed, because the whole world is being judged and executed by Allah today because of their ill doings. You know, now what was that question?
I was asking you that a lot of people, they feel like, I was asking you, do you believe that the day has come for the new covenant and the new people? And who was it?
Well, of course, that's what I've been
Chosen
talking
people,
about.
yeah.
I have the new covenant. And this is the last day, that new day, the beginning of the new day. And the Lord did say, before it destroy a community or people, it would send them a messenger. And I'm the messenger that's the warner about this is the time. Now, we have me, and then you have the whole world that stands against me. You know? Now, it's always one messenger at a time that's coming as the warner. When Jesus and John came together, they both had different jobs. People want to say Jesus was the greater when John was the one who was appointed to be the major prophet in Jerusalem, and he stayed there until he got beheaded. Jesus was supposed to come and get away, travel, and find the lost sheep that was outside of Jerusalem. You know? So therefore, those in Jerusalem who kept the history, they didn't know what happened with Jesus. Jesus again became a mystery to them. So by him being absent, they were able to take words and throw them upon Jesus that wasn't true because they knew Jesus wasn't coming back. And they sat under a devil named Paul. And they created this Pauline Christianity. And then they formed it 300 years after Paul and Jesus and all of them passed away and made up Christianity. Now they got billions upon billions upon billions upon billions. I mean, generations of billions of people have gone to hell following this false religion. The same as what's happening with the Muslims and Hadithism. You know, and it doesn't matter how angry they get. It doesn't matter how many there is. It doesn't matter if there's every world in the universes, of all universes that come against me. It doesn't matter. They come against the Lord. You know, you look at people and they will say, well, you know, it's only you, so how could you be right? Well, if you look at an ambassador that comes from another nation, it's only him, but he represents that whole nation. And if you disgrace him, dishonor him, spit on him, kill him, you have done that against that nation. Now, it's only one me, but there's Allah. The Allaah. Huh? Allah. The incomparable, eternal, infinite mind. Now, you going against that when you go against me. I'm only its messenger.
And people fail to realize that. Like, what would you say to people who watch the show and they agree with the truth that they hear in the show, but they have a hard time believing that you're actually a prophet sent by the Almighty Lord?
Well, I'd say touche. They did that with Moses and Muhammad and Jesus and all the rest of the prophets.
Right.
You know, the people didn't believe. Why? Because I'm here before them. Like the people of the Final Call, the Nation of Islam, under Louis Farrakhan, they said we can believe in a prophet to come and a prophet that was here, but we can't believe in one that's here now. That was their answer to me when I called out to them in maybe back in the 90s, maybe. You know, or whenever I went out to Chicago trying to hunt him down, and he you know, stayed away from me after promising he would meet with me. You know, but they gonna always do that. You know, because see, it's easy to answer to someone that's not here. Just like Martin Luther King. He got a holiday. A holiday means a holy day. Okay? They gave this man a holy day after he died. After he could do nothing else. They said, okay, let's give him a holy day to satisfy these people, to calm them down, because he can't do nothing else. Anything we want to add to him, we can do it, but he can do nothing else. So let's appease them because they ain't going nowhere now. We cut off the head of their leader. You see? So now the Caucasians have made him and even the one they feared, Malcolm X, sacred. Because they're not here anymore. Why not deal with the truth while it's here? See, I'm here now. And the Lord is manifesting now in the wisdom that it speaks to me. Why not deal with me now? See, after I pass, you're going to have a lot of people come running. I was with him. I'm with him. I was with him. They do that to all the messengers. You know, Muhammad's greatest following came after he passed. Because the people didn't want to deal with him while he lived. They didn't want to deal with the truth. You know? And so when he passed, it was easy to say, well, I was with him. He's not there to say you're a liar. If Muhammad was to come back now, if Jesus was to come back now, if Moses was to come back now, if Siddhartha Gautama was to come back now, they would all curse the people that claim to be them, because they would not recognize what they're doing. They would not recognize what they're saying. They would say, I didn't say that. I didn't mean that. I didn't do that. What are you doing? That's a lie. That's what they would say. And you know what the people would do? You not him. Curse you. They would curse Jesus, Moses, Muhammad, Siddhartha, Lao Shu, and every other prophet. If they came back, Krishna, they curse him. Say, you're not him.
It's a sad truth.
Yeah, it's true.
Another question I had for you that I was wondering about myself before Ahezaah gave you the right to give me understanding about it. A lot of times, people in the Muslim faith especially, they look at Christianity, say that the books have been tampered with and corrupted, but it's like they say that the Quran can't be translated into English, it can't be understood in English.
As the old country folks say, hogwash.
You gotta only pray in Arabic.
Hogwash.
Can you clear some of those things up for the people that might not understand, that still believe those things? A lot of people are.
Well, I want to apologize because I'm really rolling here, and I still haven't answered the question about Ahezaah, the name of Ahezaah. You know, even though we lose in our way, Ahezaah, whatever it gave you to ask me, evidently it wanted answers. So here's the answer. And we'll get back to that one later. But Ahezaah said to me that the Muslims have corrupted the name of Allah so bad and put such a distasteful spirit into Islam. As much as there are lovers of Islam and many believers, there are people who fear it, and people who curse it, and people who look upon it with disdain because they don't understand the beauty of it. Because Islam is beautiful. But I'm getting the signal here from the brother who is telling me that we got 1 minute because of our New York audience who only get a half an hour show. I wish we could change that one day and give them the whole hour, and so that we don't have to cut off for them. But, you know, praise be to Ahezaah. Come back with us, you know, our New York audience, and we'll see you next time.
Who of you want to do things right? To keep up with keeping your lives tight. Tight as in being right with the truth of true insight. Who of you want to do things right? Who of you